Okay. So have we actually been streaming anything? Because we've been here the entire time.
Live stream's not on, what the fuck?
And I really don't know what's going on because Twitch is telling us we're streaming. Okay,
Flickr
apparently
online. Oh,
we're
can it be
back
live?
online. How long were we gone for? Okay, so we're looking at the Twitch chat right now. Like, how long were we gone for? Half an hour? What? 26 minutes?
No way.
No way. We just started?
Yeah, I just saw Harrison. He's watching. He said you just started.
We've been talking for like 25 minutes thinking we were live. Here is exactly what XSplit looked like. We were streaming, very much streaming, and apparently that was not a thing that was working for us. So, okay. Yeah, apparently we were never live, but I thought I read someone saying something about something. That explains why when we were started already, someone said we were 1 minute late, because I didn't think we were.
Yeah. That's hilarious. We were on time this week.
I know.
We were actually on time this week.
So looking at here, sort by date. Where's our 2-1? So we only have a 5 meg file for our initial attempt to stream, I think. So we were live for. Oh no, this is now that we're back already. So okay, sorry guys.
You're on a weird scene. There you go.
Yeah, we're here. What have we talked about so far?
We talked about SSD update that we filmed at work today.
Okay, well why don't we start with that because, like, okay, it's okay. So here, guys, we're sorry we're late. We had no idea we were late. We turned on streaming and then we were going, so we weren't doing any Twitter questions or anything like that. We had absolutely no idea that we were not live at any point in time during the last 25 minutes. So really, really sorry about that. Let's go ahead and put Twitter back up there. Linus, the stream is not streaming, finally live. Okay, so we'll start.
That explains why when I checked, when you went to go get your boots, I went up to check Twitter, and there was 2 tweets. And I was like, why aren't you guys tweeting Linus? Everybody tweet Linus. And then no tweets came in.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I thought we had no technical difficulties tonight. We had audio working, we had video working. I'm actually getting kind of sick of XSplit.
XSplit says it's streaming and just isn't. That's what pisses me off.
I mean, okay, yeah, we have 1,700 viewers now. If I'd looked and seen that we had 0 viewers still, 25 minutes into a live stream.
But sometimes it takes a really long time to update.
Right, I mean, I wasn't watching it.
And it sucks to be like, oh, is everything okay? Oh, yeah, it's okay, and then keep talking. Like, it should just work. The crazy thing is, when I was doing that one little random streaming test,
yeah,
I had to start XSplit, and then stop it, and then start XSplit, and then it would work. It would never work on
We've
the first
never
time.
had this problem before.
No, I know, but upstairs I
See,
did.
that's what, okay, so those of you who are wondering why we always have problems, it's always a different problem. That's the issue. Every time we have a problem and we fix it, then we're like, yeah, we know for next time. And then we're all like, fist bump. Don't worry, we got this next time. And then it's like something different. Like one of the days, one of the XLR one of the XLR inputs on the XA10 camera is dead. So one of the days that happened while we were trying to film a live stream. So we're like, everyone's like, no audio, no audio. And the port died.
How are we supposed to know? We always use that port.
Well, the port died. What do you want me to do?
For reference, it's the port that's closest to the back of the camera.
So
by default, you just shove it in that port all the time because it just makes most sense.
And it wasn't a software thing. We even had Diesel look at it after the fact. I mean, that's part of the problem too, is it's usually me and Slick doing this, not Diesel. So, okay. We had a long day of shooting NCIX Tech Tips today, so we got a bunch of cool episodes done. One of them was we did a new SSD update. So this time we're talking about the Samsung 840 and the Samsung 840 Pro. So if you guys don't know already, basically these SSDs are balling, or less balling, but like a good value. So the 840 Pro is pretty much as fast as it gets. It's got a 5-year warranty. It sat atop our performance charts,
Yep.
if I recall correctly. And I mean, it's Samsung. Everything about it is Samsung, so there's an inherent sort of trust level there, I think, that comes along with that.
And it just straight up looks good.
Oh yeah.
Like, Samsung's really good at making good looking stuff, and their SSDs are just beautiful.
Yeah, it's just like got a nice sort of metal finish on it, and then it's got one orange spot, and
black and orange is like pretty.
that's sort of pretty boss.
Yeah, it just looks good.
Yeah. And then the 840, what's special about that is not so much the performance crown. It still performs really well, but it's the first consumer SSD to use TLC flash. Now, TLC flash was traditionally USB drive territory because it wasn't reliable enough to use in a performance application. So while it does suffer a bit in terms of write speeds, are you just checking the Twitch chat?
Yeah.
Oh, crap. We don't have an echo, do we?
It doesn't look like it.
Okay. Are you sure?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay. Because I see a thing here. That
Audio
might be a
pop.
problem. Oh, nothing we can do about audio pops right now, I don't think.
Hello, everyone.
So it's the first one to use TLC flash, which means that higher densities, lower prices in the longer run, as well as Samsung's claim that what they've done with this drive is they've validated TLC flash to the point where it's usable in a performance application. So read speeds are still outstanding, but write speeds are a little bit slower. However, the thing to be aware of is that if you're a gamer or a general desktop user, the odds that even 20% of the operations that you do on an SSD are writes, it's like that.
And most of your writes are going to be big ones, like games or programs,
Yeah.
where it's like, okay.
So, okay, a long discussion we had before we realized absolutely nobody was watching it was Slick's challenge to me that I should tell him my favorite piece of, well, okay.
Software. Well, we were talking about random stuff, and we were talking about SSDs. So whenever I talk about SSDs, I'm thinking about new computer builds. So what one I would want to put in different price computers and whatnot. So then I started thinking about Ninite. And Ninite is my favorite program, so I asked him what his favorite program was.
Well, hold on. What you said before was piece of software.
Yeah.
I maintain Ninite's not really a piece of software. It's a script. Would you
How
call
is
a
it not a
script?
piece of software?
Would you call a script software?
Yes.
Oh, come on. That's like me saying that I had a really cool, washing machine. Because it has like a programmable cycle. And so that's my favorite piece of software, is the software on the washing machine.
Okay, that's completely different.
How is it completely different? All Ninite does.
It's not just a script, also.
How is it not just a script?
They program in specific stuff for each one. That's why they don't just have a bajillion
You can have a
programs.
script that programs in specific
Of course
stuff.
it has script. But there's also core software to it. A UI is not a script.
Okay, but an installer is not necessarily a UI.
There's still a UI to it.
I think the washing machine example holds because that software, someone coded it. It's not just pure scripts. It has a UI.
Okay, so is your favorite program your washing machine?
My clothes wouldn't be clean without it.
Is your favorite program your washing machine?
No, but that's my point. Is your favorite program can't be Ninite any more than my favorite program can be my washing machine.
That's ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. Come up with a real program.
It's a program.
Why don't you think about one that's like a legitimate program?
Why are
that's
you
not just
programmist?
programmist?
Yeah.
That's not a thing. Okay, well, the one that I came up with that I think actually is a legitimate... Okay, because you asked piece of software.
Yeah.
I would not consider, like, the macro functionality on a mouse to be a piece of software.
Okay, whatever piece of software.
The connotation of it is
I'm holding Ninite. I'll show my other one that I showed when we weren't streaming to anyone. But...
And that's just a function. That's like a feature of
Oh
another
my
piece of
God.
software.
Okay, then I like...
You know
whatever.
what? Fine. My favorite piece of software is Windows Home Server because unlike pretty much anything else, it actually legitimately made my life better. It allowed me to take sort of random hard drives, like really random. I think I even had 120 gig drives in it before I knew you.
Really?
Yeah, like really old stuff.
That's pretty legit.
Yeah, like yes I did. I had two Maxtor Diamond Max 9s.
That's the only drive I've ever killed, was a Maxtor. That was
Really?
the one that slipped out of my hand.
Oh, nice.
Ugh.
Okay, well these were old drives. These were SATA 1 back when instead of it being a native SATA controller, SATA drives were just IDE drives with a SATA bridge chip. So the actual performance bottleneck that didn't exist even then. I mean, ATA 133 is still almost fast enough for any modern drive. Something like a WD Green 3 terabyte, I think peaks at 125 megabytes per second reads and writes. ATA 133 is, you know.
And the ridiculous thing is that we replaced it with SATA, and then now SATA is almost done.
But it's because of SSDs.
Yeah.
I mean, ATA would have been held back big time by SSDs.
Oh yeah, of course. But it's just funny how fast that went.
Yeah,
by.
SATA's hilarious. It's like, SATA 150! Oh! ATA 100 and 133, yay! It's the same thing. So anyway, I had those in there. So what Windows Home Server was it was a way you could mix and match drives and have safe, redundant storage. So I tested it time and time again because I kept using like random old crappy drives and refurb drives in it, and they kept failing. But I kept not losing any data because of the way that the drive pool worked. It was an easy way to manage all of your computers remotely, so you could just have one port open, UPnP sets it up for you. You don't even have to think about it, versus the amount of dinking around in your router and in your OSs, or installing, you know, different applications on the computers for remote access. Don't have to worry about any of that. It's just all native remote desktop connection, and it just splits everything out from the one computer. And the web portal for accessing your files from anywhere is so much better than most NASs, any NAS, pretty much.
That, in my opinion, was the coolest part.
Just the fact that it worked just like browsing a folder in Windows.
Yeah.
And then you transfer files, and I mean...
The only thing I didn't like is if you had a really, really big transfer, it just said, like, transferring files, and gave you no bar. So you had no idea how far along it was.
Part of the problem was that at the time, Slick was using the Windows Home Server to upload completed Tech Tips episodes.
Off of my horrible
like
archaic
512
internet
kilobit up.
50.
50 kilobit?
50. That was the really, really old one we had. We've had two step-ups since then.
Are you sure?
That's when we were on TELUS. We've had two step-ups since then.
That's awful.
Then we moved to Shaw,
So
and we got to whatever, and then we,
So not having a progress bar would have been a problem.
Yeah, because it would take like the entire night
Right.
to upload one video. Like literally it would take the entire night to upload one video, or an entire day.
I mean, on the topic of NASs, especially back then, even a gigabit NAS was going to do 20, 30 megabytes per second file copies, whereas a Windows Home Server, it's a freaking computer. It's fast. So, it takes care of that stuff. All right, you can show them what you think passes for
This is cool.
software.
Anyone who does any web development stuff will probably appreciate this. If you just go into Web Developer on Firefox, go down to their Inspect tool. This will be a little bit more. I'll go to
Yeah, go to the forum.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Something that has actually more things on the page. It's going slow. Why are you going slow right now?
Haha, someone's saying ew Firefox in the Twitch chat. You just got burned.
Whatever.
You got burned like fire,
Whatever.
but you're pretty foxy.
Alright, so if you go into Inspect View, most people, if you work with web stuff, will know what Inspect View is, so you can see all the different elements. Then if you click on 3D View, you can see all the different elements. Instead of just highlighting them, you can actually see how they stack on each other, and you can click on each individual one.
Show them that module where you figured out that it was just like a huge problem because it was like a bajillion dependencies.
That's changed.
Has it changed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See, it's not ridiculous anymore.
Okay, so you can see if a module, like if it's going to be easy to repair something because you can see how many dependencies each of the things on the page actually has.
Well, it's just easier because you can see like what inheritance, and you can see exactly which element it is, and you can like jump into this, and that's span.ma, so I can go and find that super easily now and change things and do whatever I want. And it's just kind of fun. It looks kind of cool. That's really the main reason why it's awesome. I'm not even going to try and hide that. It just looks really cool. It's like, look, I can do this. It's really not like, yeah, I don't know. It's not exactly needed.
Why don't we do a little bit of Twitter questions, since apparently that was a big problem for us last time. If we'd been doing freaking Twitter questions, we would have known that the stream wasn't working at all. So someone says you're sexy. I'm with Thomas on this one. What do you think about the rumors of NVIDIA not allowing non-reference boards for GK110? Why does NVIDIA hate overclocks? NVIDIA doesn't hate overclocks. NVIDIA hates dead chips because people overdo it. That's what NVIDIA hates.
Which I don't like.
I don't like dead chips either.
That's not what I meant. I don't like that they're stopping progress.
Okay, new GPUs are progress.
Yeah. but limiting people's overvolting capabilities is not progress, in my opinion. I want to have fun with my stuff. I don't want to just buy it and be like, yeah, it's in my system.
How much fun is your stuff if NVIDIA knows that as the processes keep shrinking, overvolting is going to be more... Okay, remember, a GPU is not like a CPU where you can do this to it. You can just be like, oh yeah, CPUs, lots more leakage with the new, smaller process, so we'll just put this on it, and then it's okay. GPUs, you're limited to this stupid, horrible, inefficient cooling form factor. Where, I mean, putting a fan sideways on something, who came up with this? This is the worst thing ever. And guys, I know that that's because this slot-in type form factor is not designed for video cards. I know. They didn't come up with this because they thought it was brilliant. They came up with this because it was a means to an end. They had to cool the cards somehow. Yeah. But, I mean, here, this is kind of a funny thing, is people think that graphics cards output like shed loads of heat because they run really hot. They don't. If you actually take a cooling loop, like in the SwiftTech suite, where Gabe from SwiftTech had a CPU, what was it, 2 GPUs?
I think so.
Two
and
GPUs.
Didn't he do MOSFET cooling?
No, that was a different build.
That was a different system?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he had a CPU and 2 GPUs in the one at the end of the table.
Yeah, he had two crazy ones. I just always get them mixed up.
So he had a CPU and 2 GPUs, and the actual coolant temperatures were only like 4 degrees higher. And that speaks to the efficiency of the H220 liquid cooler, for one thing, but it also speaks to the fact that even though GPUs run hot, that is not the same thing as outputting a lot of heat. If you guys sort of understand. Like, if you were able to put a cooler like this on a GTX 680, I guarantee it would run cooler than a 3570K. So part of the problem is the form factor that they're stuck in, where it's, they can't just throw more cooling at the problem. So I understand their perspective. There. Bam.
Don't care.
Fine, be like that. I mean, I don't want to see us stuck with reference boards.
Which, like, if those rumors are true, that's what we're getting to.
And while I would prefer an NVIDIA reference board to an AMD reference board, from what I've seen in the past 3 generations, I would still like to give guys like ASUS the ability to release, balling Republic of Gamers stuff. And I'd like to see guys like MSI releasing Lightning cards. And, I mean, that particular reference board is not my cup of tea. The 670 reference board actually has more coil whine and just sort of is generally, like, really pathetic looking compared to the 680 one. It does make more noise.
Not going to be too stoked if they keep going in that direction, but...
yeah. Slick's hair, explain now.
I got it cut.
That's horrible.
What?
Hey Slick, are you into Linux? I think he means Linus, and yeah, he's super into me. It's a typo.
I'm not super good with it, but I try, and it's really cool, and it's fun, and...
Come closer.
What?
Just the framing's weird.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna move over too. I'm not. Okay. I don't just want to be close.
I was like, what? Yeah, Linux is really cool. I just wish I was better with it.
OBS stream software. Yeah, I've heard of it.
I can turn down the mic a little bit.
We can, you know what?
Maybe talking
I can just not yell much. That should be fine. Shout out to the Linus Tech Tips Forum mod team. Yay! Linus Tech Tips. Speaking of the forum, we actually haven't had any downtime this week. That I knew about. When did we have downtime?
It just kind of flickered out for a little bit. I don't know if very many people actually noticed at all. No big deal. It came back. It's okay.
Okay, well, the forum's been way more stable. We've stopped rolling out every beta release of vBulletin 5 that sort of comes across our inboxes.
That wasn't why the forum went down.
I know, but it couldn't have helped.
It was probably stable.
You know what? I don't want to talk about it. But when the release that fixes the pages comes out,
we're gonna go pretty hard for that one. We're gonna test that one in development, and then we're gonna hopefully release that one. Most of the other ones we're kind of ignoring because a lot of the fixes, while they would help, are not that substantial. And bringing down the forum to put it live, and then running into problems while we're trying to update, because everyone runs into problems while they're trying to update vBulletin 5 right now, and then finally getting it live, and then running into X, Y, and Z errors that we haven't seen before, and all these people freaking out because something doesn't work. Like, that's not really worth it right now, where we feel that most of our users on the forum are at least getting used to the bugs that are happening.
Yeah.
And people are finding their own kind of workarounds, and we posted a workaround for one, and like it's becoming.
There we go. That's more
Where's
like it.
the latch?
Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it.
Oh my goodness, I'm still taller than you.
There. You're sitting up all straight.
My
I
leg-
can sit up straight too. I'll just move closer to the camera. There we go. This is how they filmed The Hobbit, apparently. They just had a bunch of people standing closer to the camera. See, we could make me look like a giant and Slick look like a midget. That's
The
kind of
lighting's all weird on your face,
Yeah,
though.
well.
They can tell. And they also can tell that you just put my chair all the way to the bottom. And the bottom of my chair, the top of the like seat part of my chair
They can't see that.
is at the bottom of his.
That's the smoke and mirrors.
I'm like
that is,
that much further down
is
than he is.
what were you talking about? Sorry, something about how the forum went down and it's all your fault. You're fired.
Mods have been great. Thanks, literally everyone on the
Thank
mod
you.
team. That's been awesome.
We might actually have some cool new stuff to talk to the mod team about
Yeah.
at some point.
That's,
We're not going to talk about that now, though.
No.
That's top secret for
Yeah,
now.
but that could be really fun. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say what it is.
That could be like actually kind of the best thing ever. That
Um,
was a good idea. At
yeah.
first, I didn't think it was
No,
that
yeah,
great.
it's a
but
great
then I'm
idea.
just like,
Everyone's
it's a
just
good
wondering
idea.
what the heck we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Everyone, by the way, if you see stuff like that's in the wrong form, if you see stuff that's bad, there is the flag tool at the bottom of the post.
That works, right?
That is one of the things that works.
Yes!
Right now, unfortunately, there's only 2 people that see it. Only the admins can see the flags, so not the whole mod team gets to see the flags. So
Right.
it will possibly take us a bit because we're working on other stuff, whatnot.
Yeah.
But I do get to all the flags that get posted. So if you
Okay.
post a flag, I will get to it.
Just found out my WD Green external can copy 70 okay.
Where the heck is the thing? Oh.
Oh yeah, USB 2. That's about the max it can do is 35 megabytes per second. So I'm pretty sure that's what you meant. What's the difference between SAS and SATA? That's one of those if you don't know, you don't really need to know kinds of things. SAS has some more enterprise level error correction built into it. It plays more nicely with things like backplanes that'll split it out.
Yeah.
Like SATA supports simple port multipliers, but some of the more advanced functionality is.
Do you have one of the
yeah,
simple
SAS.
splitters?
SAS actually. Yeah, I've got a SAS.
He's got some nice SAS splitters, so we'll get one of those. That'll show one of the things that you can actually do with it, which is actually really cool.
Yeah, SAS supports not only sort of splitting out to individual what appear to be SATA connectors from something like an SFF 8087, which is what this connector is, but it also supports direct 8087 connections to like an 8087 compatible backplane and things like that. So SAS is more server, professional, enterprise level technology, whereas SATA is more for consumer level. They're not actually any difference in terms of the speed, so don't worry about it. Is WD ever going to enter the SSD market? I would expect them to, well, they already have. Like 2 years ago or whenever it was, when they released, I don't remember what it was called. It wasn't very successful.
Wasn't there
That,
tons of rumors?
hold on. That whole presentation that we attended was NDA.
Not talking about that.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Weren't there like a ton of rumors that they were going to acquire OCZ there for a while? Or was that Seagate?
No, that was Seagate.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, is it Seagate that's actually, like, thinking about getting into the SSD game? Or is that WD?
Seagate, I had a call with them, but my entire call is under NDA. So I can't actually talk about this topic. But he doesn't know, so he can talk about it as much as he wants. But he doesn't know, so there's nothing to say.
Yeah. There was tons of rumors when OCZ was kind of in the dumps there for a bit that Seagate was going to acquire them.
Ted
So
says
that
nice
was
Bieber
interesting.
haircut.
I don't even know what my hair looks
No,
like.
Bieber has hair like that now.
Like
You
this?
basically look like Justin Bieber.
That's unfortunate.
It's too bad you don't sound like
He's
him.
like half my size and sounds like a girl.
He's so dreamy.
You disgust me.
Trade-offs between multi and single rail power supplies. I think we've covered this before, so I'm going to leave that one. Okay, we're risking it. Oh, yeah, I do look dodgy, and you do look like you're thinking really hard about something. Thinking long and hard.
You know what was really creepy? I showed Linus the face swap post on the forum.
Oh, that is
Oh god.
That is just awful. Here,
Like, what?
I'm gonna go find it.
Oh.
Linus Tech
just unsettling. Just
face swap.
it's just weird.
Okay, so yeah, here it is, guys. This is the Linus and Slick face swap
No,
thread.
get full page.
Yeah, I'm working on it. So this is just like I don't know why it's so creepy, but it really, really is.
Seems really slow right now.
Yeah, I know. Why is the forum so slow, Slick? Way to go.
Maybe you could get me actual hosting. Maybe you could be not running me on beta software. Maybe you could give me an actual server.
You know what? That server's not bad.
Yeah, that's true.
That's like, it's a 980X. It's not a bad server by any stretch of the imagination.
And it has like baller 48 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
What?
48 gigs of non-ECC RAM on top of it. Speaking of things that are optimized for server and professional applications and
Not that.
not optimal for...
Not the, like, what are they? They're ripjaws, right?
Yeah, they're G-Skill ripjaws. Okay, so the forum's just apparently not working at all. Nope, no, wait, there go. Oh, no. Wait, yes. Wait, slow? Is everyone hammering the forum because we're talking about it in the live stream?
Oh, God.
Is it just down?
Yeah.
Weren't we just talking about how it's not down?
Yeah.
Is it down or timing out?
It's timed out.
Check the Twitch chat. Is anyone on the forum? Like, was it up recently?
A lot of people are saying it's down. Was it up recently, guys?
You gotta be kidding me. Well, that's depressing. Okay, well, I guess you guys will have to just trust me when I say that it's creepy. And, you'll have to sort of look into that. So I guess we'll move right along in terms of our discussion topics. Yes! My personal rig is finally going to be having some progress made on it. So I got a confirmation from Mountain Mods that I am going to be getting my case back next week. So I sent it down there for powder coating. It actually was a little bit trickier to do the powder coating than they initially thought. So they had to... okay, the first time I sent my TJ07 to them, I had the anodization left on the side panels and on the unibody frame because it was beautiful, it was immaculate, it was brand new. So I only sent them the internals to powder coat with their black wrinkle. However, this time around, because I've had my case for a long time now and it's gotten kind of beat up and scuffed and scratched, and the side panels have that hairline brushed aluminum finish that I love, but is extremely susceptible to staining. Like if you just touch it and you don't wipe it off immediately, then it'll just leave a stain of a fingerprint that etches itself into the aluminum and you can't get rid of afterwards. So I had that all over it. So I was like, okay, screw it. I'm just going to powder coat the whole thing this time. So I sent them the entire case, and I'm actually, what's going on? Okay, Slick just like barreled out of here, so I have no idea what's going on, but whatever it is sort of a big deal apparently. So anyway, my case was stained to crap, so I sent them the whole thing. I'm actually replacing, so not only the finish on the entire thing, it's going to be black wrinkle, but I'm also replacing the side panel windows, so instead of using a piece of acrylic, which is just horrible, like acrylic scratches by the time you actually peel the plastic cover off of it most of the time, and because it's such a static magnet, it's always got dust on it and it always kind of looks cloudy no matter what you try to do. So I'm replacing that with glass as well. But anyway, so Mountain Mods found it was kind of tricky because they had to strip off the anodization, and then the logos on that case are actually done with a special epoxy. Like it's an opaque epoxy. There's a Silverstone logo at the top, and then there's like a power indicator at the bottom. So they had to get that stripped off as well. They had to, I think they ended up sanding it off just to get rid of it. There's a special remover for it, and I know that it's kind of out there in the forums, but they're just painting the thing anyways. So they just scratched it. Then they had to actually paint it, and then once it gets back, I'm going to find out if I can even put the thing together, because I remember having a conversation with Charles from Murder Mod back, this must have been like 4 years ago? 4 or 5 years ago? Wow. I've been doing this a long time. Anyway, I had a conversation with Charles from Murder Mod back when he first started up, where he said that the issue with powder coating TJ07s is that the tolerances can sometimes be so tight on the side panels that once you add that extra bit of thickness to the unibody and the side panel, you actually can't mount the thing on anymore. So I'm a little bit worried that that's what's going to happen to mine. But if it does, I have a TJ11 sort of on standby, and I'll go ahead and just kind of use that, and I won't be too sad about it. Speaking of my personal rig, actually, this is really cool. I wanted to show you guys this. We did an unboxing of this reservoir earlier this week, so this will be coming soon. But if you guys remember, I'm using one of the limited edition SwiftTech Apogee HD gold-plated blocks. They only made 200. So NCIX ordered, I think NCIX placed the second order. So NCIX got numbers 60 to 120 or something like that. Or like 60 to 100 or I don't know. Or yeah, 60 to 120. So I got number 69 and I wanted to do kind of like a gold-themed build, so I saw this and it kind of caught my eye. It is a gold-plated cylinder reservoir from Phobia. Phobia. So it's actually got gold-plated plugs that come with it. So I was thinking with Bits Power gold-plated compressions, this thing would look absolutely amazing. But I'm not sure. Is it something like this? It actually, like, it's heavy too. So the end caps are brass, unlike on the T-Virus reservoir where they're made of acetal or Delrin or, yeah, acetal and Delrin are the most common names for it. So it actually has some heft to it, which I kind of like. Comes with really, really nice mounts. So most of these cylinder reses come with sort of cheesy plexi mounts. Is it up?
It's like bogged to all hell.
What's wrong with it?
I think it might be running a timed backup.
Oh.
Because they run on hour-based cycles, not like this time every day. Because we wanted to have more backups because of last time that we lost posts.
Oh.
So I think we hit a really bad time because we started talking about stuff in the forum.
And
so
then
everyone hit it. So it's backing up the database and people are hitting the database. So it's just like,
So if the database ran on like SSD, then would it just...
Well, one of the things that we're thinking about doing is making a dedicated MySQL computer.
Right, okay.
This would kind of help with that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, because see, I've just been killing time here. I started talking about a reservoir. I had nothing. I was like, whatever he's doing, it looks really urgent.
Well, I started pinging. I pinged other boxes that are sitting there.
I thought maybe the Chinese guy was back or something.
Oh God, did we ever talk about that?
I don't think so.
We got attacked by a Chinese guy, a Chinese hacker.
Yeah, he's a ninja.
That was nuts. And
Yeah.
then the...
Well, you haven't even talked about why it's nuts, because anyone can sort of be a script kiddie, but this guy was like serious
This
business.
guy knew what he was talking about.
What happened?
We just got absolutely hammered, like harder than we've had a few different DDoS attacks before we got the nice firewall, and then this guy just crushed us. Like it was ridiculous, and we weren't really getting touched by him at all. Like the site was going fine, it was just like. Poof. In other cases, it kind of like sped up. I think people were using like Loic and stuff, which doesn't seem to all hit all at once. But this guy was like prepared and angry.
I mean, what kind of gear do you figure he had?
A lot. I don't know exactly what he had, but a lot.
So how far did he get?
He was SSHing into our Linux box, which means he was like getting, yeah, trying to remote connect it into our box, which is like not cool.
And what's the point? There's no data on it that's like helpful. Yeah, I guess. Anyway, the point is we have a baller firewall now,
Yeah.
and he's tried again since then.
And failed.
And the firewall basically gave him the old,
Nope.
no thank you, please, sir. Thank you, bye. So,
Get out.
see you later, alligator.
That was cool, actually.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. So, where were we? Ah, yes. Okay, I wanted to do a model numbers rant that's not really related to anything. So bring up those SSDs again. Okay, I'm going to go get another SSD that's somewhat related to this rant.
Why am I bringing these up particularly?
Okay, here's another one. Okay. So, product naming consistency. This drives me crazy. This is a Samsung 830. This is a top-of-the-range performance drive that is as good as it gets from its generation.
I know where you're going with this.
This is a Samsung 840. This is a mainstream drive. Okay. This is a Samsung 840 Pro. This is a top-of-the-range performance drive. Why isn't an 840 a continuation of an 830? Why isn't this called the 740? I mean, that's okay. Here, this is what makes me crazy, and it's not just them. The graphics cards guys do it. Everyone does it. If you have a number-based naming scheme,
Scale as you go to the right.
why not just change the number and make it different? Like, okay, out of all the
NVIDIA
numbers,
does good.
out of all the numbers between 0 and 1,000, Samsung has used a grand total of I think 4 of them. Why not just call it an 840 and an 835? Or like a 720? Or I mean, they can't use 520 because Intel used that.
Yeah.
And then there's Intel's numbers, which are just random.
Just who cares?
It's like it's a 520. It's a 330. And then a 335, I think, is just a 330 with like a die shrink or something like that. And isn't faster.
Yeah.
Like, at all. And actually, you know what? No, NVIDIA has been sometimes really good and sometimes super inconsistent. Like, I don't know if you remember when they pulled... Okay, this wasn't as bad as what
They
AMD
skipped
pulled.
300.
Yes.
Which just like still blows people's minds.
Skip 300 outright. Like, I actually make mistakes when I'm talking about how many generations apart graphics cards.
What? What happened there?
They completely skipped 300, and then 200 to 400 was a huge generational leap that could have... I mean, do you think they had a product and then just didn't release it?
But then why wouldn't you just name the new one 300?
And like, okay, and what's up with NVIDIA and sometimes releasing a flagship product that is an Ultra, and sometimes releasing a flagship project that is that one 5?
And then like what happened to all the differentiation between GTX and GTS and GT?
What happened to GX2?
Yeah.
Now
Like,
that's
all
just
this
a
kind of
90.
stuff. Yeah.
Right? So
They just floated it all around.
they're just, and although I think AMD was probably the worst one. When they went from a 6970 being a top-of-the-range single GPU to a 6990 being a dual card to a 5870, right. 5970 was a dual GPU card.
Right.
6970 was a top-of-the-range single GPU
I
card.
actually never really even thought about that.
And
That's
then it
kinda
was a
ridiculous.
6990. It's like, so there's a 20-digit, like 20 number separation between a 6970 and a 6990, when a 6990 is actually two 6970s. Before that, it was 5850, 5870, same kind of thing. And then it was a 5850, was it? Hold on. 5970, wasn't it? Oh crap, now I don't remember.
Microsoft's really bad for it too. Operating
Now
systems?
I'm just confused. See, but this is the kind of confusion that comes around.
Operating systems go back and forth in between letters and XP and years and then digits and it's like, what?
And instead of having 2 digits, we're going to have 1 digit.
Yeah, and you go from like years to like random small letter combinations to Vista, which is a word, and then number. It's like, nope, back down to single number. It's like, what? What are you doing?
Like, why can't they just make it simple for the consumer? It's like, this is the, ballinist thing, 250. And that's better than the ballinist thing 200. I don't know.
Even though I don't like them, Apple does pretty okay. They just don't care. No, iPad. no, iPad.
It kind of drives me crazy because I was listening to the radio and they were doing a giveaway for an iPad with Retina display. And I was like, which one? Which iPad with Retina display?
That's fantastic. I love how they just don't care. Like, nope, it doesn't have a name.
And like the worst thing about iPad 3 versus iPad 4 is that the differentiation between these two products is so small and so insignificant that and the general consumer so doesn't care about an A6 or an A8 or an A25 or whatever chip happens to be in it that it's just like they're like iPad with Retina. Like it used to be that you could go iPad 2, okay, iPad with Retina. Now it's like iPad with Retina. Like there's no killer feature where you can go, yeah, this is like the one. And then, but on iPhone they number them, except when they put an S on it. So anyway, naming schemes. If anyone out there is listening, everyone who comes up with naming schemes that make no sense is just like needs to not do that anymore. Speaking of naming schemes that make no sense in Windows operating systems, Windows Phone 8, actually that makes perfect sense.
Total sense.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry about it. So I now have not only the HTC 8X, but I've also got my hands on an 8S. And I just want to say, for those of you who have been enjoying my I Switched series of videos where I'm logging my impressions, not necessarily as a total expert, because people have been like hardcore criticizing the videos going, he doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, that's the point. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a phone guy. I'm giving you my experience. I personally did not find it intuitive to go into my contact list like this and, okay, I find scrolling intuitive. I find scrolling on the right-hand side, like it's done in iOS and Android, intuitive. I do not find it intuitive to click this number sign here and have that bring up a menu of numbers that I can or letters that I can skip to.
I haven't seen this.
Yeah,
What?
this is a button. How was I supposed to know that
Remember
was a
I
button?
asked you what that was. I was like, you have a contact that doesn't have a name.
Well, yeah, but it's just their headers. So you can click
Yeah,
any
no, I
one of
know.
them.
But when we first started looking at your phone, I was like, why do you have a contact that doesn't have a name?
Right, so anyway, I didn't figure that out.
That's so random.
Another thing that I didn't, but to me, that, okay, yes, you could go, Linus, you didn't do enough research on the phone. And I go, well, yeah, but who does?
Yeah.
If I'm approaching it as not a phone enthusiast, as just a general consumer. The other one was I complained that notifications that come down from the top don't go away. You can't just click out of them. And so for me, as a Windows user, if something pops up, my first reaction is just click somewhere else, and it'll go away. And it doesn't work that way, because what you're supposed to do is swipe them away to the right. That, to me, was not a natural Windows response.
If you're an Android user, that makes sense.
But I'm an iOS user, didn't know that. So anyway, the point is, most of the issues that I had have been resolved in a big way. And the 8S fixes my last problem with the Windows 8 platform because it is significantly smaller. So the issue I have with the 8X is that I can't really, it's a little bit more slippery than the 8S, and I can't quite reach the far left side while holding onto the phone. So the 8S is a 4-inch screen versus a 4.3-inch screen, so you can see it's quite a bit smaller, and is much more comfortable. It also has a soft touch grip to the back, and I can reach all the way across it, so typing is much easier. The one issue I have with the 8S is that it's only a 4 gig phone, so I'm going to see if all of my apps fit on the 8S, and then I might actually switch to it.
It's expandable, but you can't install apps on the SD card.
Oh yeah, it has a micro SD, whereas the 8X doesn't have a micro SD expansion slot. So there's sort of give and takes to both of them. And for those of you who are asking why I didn't get a Lumia 920, it's because I don't have a Lumia 920. HTC sent me these Windows phones in order to do my impressions so that I could make these videos. And I mean, they knew that it wasn't necessarily going to be all roses about the phones because I'd never used Windows Phone 8 before.
And self-admittedly not a phone guy.
I even told them, I'm like, I'm not a phone guy. Why do you even want me to do this?
That was part of the reason why.
They're like, it's because you're not a phone guy. We want to find out from a non-phone guy how this whole experience goes. And so yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And I think as I get closer to the end of the 30 days, I'm going to be a lot more comfortable with it.
Tell them what you said today.
What did I say today?
When we were walking downstairs and you were like, I think I might actually...
I may actually switch.
Yeah.
So I'm getting to the point where I may actually stick with Windows Phone. And I'm not going Android.
And this comes from like a pretty hardcore Apple phone guy.
Yeah, I like iOS a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, iOS is good. I still like iOS. But you know what's funny is when I pick up my iPhone 4, it feels like a brick now. Because the 8X is so much bigger and so much lighter and just like, it's sexier and just kind of better in every way. But yeah, I'm not going Android. I know there's a lot of features that Android has, but I don't like the user experience. Sorry. Part of that could be, I've said this before, but part of it could be because I'm more used to Android on tablet. That's where I've used it mostly. And I've spent a fair bit of time on Android in a tablet environment. But I just don't want that for my phone experience.
We all know it's totally different, but he's just a hater.
You know what entire conversation is missing now? We didn't talk about the Logan thing.
Oh my god.
I know, we talked about this for like 10 minutes. So Logan made a pretty bold claim. Logan from Tech Syndicate. If you're not subscribed to Tech Syndicate, make sure you are. It's youtube.com/raisetheworld, where the O in world is a 0.
Yeah.
So he made a pretty bold claim that the FX8350 pile driver core AMD processor is just as good, if not better, for gaming in a lot of cases than the 3570K. And the conventional wisdom on the internets has been, if you're gaming, get a 3570K, shut up about it, and just go enjoy your processor. So when you guys brought it up on the live stream last week, I had initially kind of went, poo-poo, no, it's not right. And that wasn't because I was just being dismissive of someone else's results. We have tested those chips before. The last time we did a head-to-head was with the 2500K and the 8150, but both of those are about 10% slower, than the processors that replaced them, the 3570 and the 8350, and we did not have his experience between those two chips at all.
And like we didn't run the same benchmarks.
That's true. We didn't run the same benchmarks.
The only one that we ran that was the same was Crysis, and we had a very similar output.
Okay, so that could be part of it.
Crysis 2, sorry.
Another part of it is that it came to my attention that Logan was using a released and then retracted Windows 7 patch that looks like it optimizes the scheduling of processes across multiple cores better, which would obviously be an advantage for the 8350 versus the 3570K, which not only has half as many cores, well, sort of half as many cores. Bulldozer modules are not quite 2 cores. They're like 1.5 cores. So it has fewer cores, and it doesn't even have the benefit of hyperthreading like the 3770K does. But the 3770K is in a different price bracket from an 8350, so we can't make that comparison. So we kind of went, okay, let's take all this and let's put the Linus Tech Tip spin on it. So we're not going to quite run the exact same thing as him, the exact same way.
We took, like, I sat down and watched all of his videos and took immense amounts of notes. I have like 4 or 5 pages worth of notes. We paid attention, and we're going to try and do our own thing. Not copy, but do our own thing.
So we're going to do our own thing, and we're going to take a slightly different angle. So number one, our test platforms, we're going to keep them as similar as possible. We're going to run a 660 Ti Power Edition. We are going to run, did we decide on the amount of RAM? What, 8 gigs? Oh, what RAM are we running? Oh, okay, we're running 16 gigs of DDR3 1600 CL9 RAM, so just like normal memory. We're running a Crosshair 5 formula and a Maximus 5 formula, so the most up-to-date, highest performance ROG boards for each of those platforms. Okay, I guess there's technically a Maximus 5 Extreme, but
yeah. But
okay.
like pretty bleeding edge.
Full formula level boards. And we're going to stick with 1080p because that's sort of our tradition. Most people still aren't really running 1440p, particularly gamers if you're buying fast TN panels or whatever else. Those aren't really out there in 1440.
I'm not trying to be rude. I'm talking to Mr. Wizard about bringing the forum up and stuff.
Is it still down?
It's kind of shaky.
Okay.
So I'm not
Okay.
trying to be rude. Keep going. Keep going. No.
Where was I? Right, we're going to stick with 1080p. One video card. We're going to run a variety of games.
And our benchmarking settings for those games will be very similar to tests we've done on those games previously. We're keeping our kind of style.
We're going to do our style. So I think one of the things Logan did was he cranked all the settings. Because he was looking at it from a, well, okay, if you've got all the processing power, whether it's an 8350 or a 3570K, we can all agree that they're both beast. That's fine. If you have a high-end video card, you're probably going to crank up your settings. However, something that we've observed in the past is that if you crank the settings completely to the max, some games just break. So we've seen games where performance just falls off a cliff disproportionately. I've seen games where turning on anti-aliasing past a certain point increases the input lag of the game engine itself to the point where it's just totally unplayable. So we're going to go for that sort of that realistic, yeah, we'd actually play like this. So if one wins over the other, it's probably going to be the difference between 45 FPS and 38 FPS. So we're going for that playable range rather than just kind of tanking it as hard as we can and seeing what happens. We are also going to shake up one thing that Logan didn't do, and we're going to change the OS up. So we're going to do Windows 7 without the patch that you have to get by specifically requesting it, because it was retracted. We're going to do it with the patch on Windows 7, and then we're going to do Windows 8, because Windows 8 should have that logic already built into it. So, and we've been people have asked us how many times to do gaming on Windows 7 performance versus gaming on Windows 8 performance with the same platform. So in this case, we're going to do that on Intel and on AMD separately, to say sort of once and for all, does the OS impact the gaming performance? I can tell you guys right now it doesn't very much, but we're going to do a video about it anyway. We're going to prove it.
There is some areas where it's better or worse. I've seen some other people's benchmarks. Not a lot, you're right.
It's not huge,
No,
though.
it's not huge. But
it's the kind of thing you'd never notice unless you're testing side by side.
Still interesting, though. Okay,
interesting, yes. So I'll give it that. It is interesting. And I think you closed up the notebook, which is where I had my notes for what I wanted to talk about. Okay, is the forum up enough that we can show them the scary, creepy thread now?
It's kind of fluttering in and out. We can try.
Let's see if that one thread manages to load, so... Everybody cross your fingers! Is the forum gonna load? And, you know, of course, every time we talk about it, they're all gonna...
Let's just let it sit in the
Okay,
background.
here. I have to go to the washroom, so why don't you preview this surprise you have for me? Show them what it is.
Okay. Oh, so, it's not loading at all, is it? No, it just totally failed. Okay, so I can't really show it too much because I don't want to take it out of the box. I ordered some stuff from China, some keyboard stuff. I got a ducky wrist rest. It's all leather, and I'm not really usually a fan of wrist rests because I don't really like the really jelly stuff. But this one's very kind of hard, but then still comfortable. So pretty stoked about that. I do not like wrist rests, but I've been using this over the last little while, and this is the only one I've had that I actually really like. But I've never had a really solid wrist rest before, so I'm not hitting on any other wrist rests. And then I'm a fan of keyboards, and I wanted to get another one. And I was going to buy a Filco Magistouch. You can find it. It's on NCX. It's a special edition one, but it has yellow keycaps. And then I decided that I wanted to get a 10 keyless one, and I was looking around at different keyboards and decided that I might as well get a Year of the Dragon one from Ducky. You can see right there. I'm not going to open it because I'm going to get him to do it. So that's pretty cool. I kind of wanted to get a Year of the Dragon one because they make Year of the keyboards kind of fairly consistently. And they're always pretty cool. And like this one's got a lot of cool features and it looks really cool and they do their own little thing with it and it's pretty awesome. Holy crap.
I brought some of the cool stuff that we're going to be checking out soon on the channel. So all of this arrived today, which is kind of sweet. So we have a Razer Orb Weaver on hand. We saw this at CES. Tell me, Slick, okay, as someone who hasn't typically found, I mean, have you ever owned a Razer peripheral that you've used for an extended period of time?
Technically, yes, one.
One? Okay, yeah. Okay, but in general, not really much of a Razer guy?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about this.
And my one Razer thing, I kind of hate it.
Okay.
And it's broken.
Tell me about this.
I hate these things. Not like this one in particular, but like these little gamepad things. I've never really seen the intrigue about it. But if I had to get one, this one just crushes all the other ones. It comes with
That's
Cherry
important.
MX Blues.
The word crush.
Like no competition.
Cherry MX Blue key switches, all fully mechanical gamepad. Which, I mean, makes it how much better than everything else?
Just crushes. I don't, like, it's not even funny. And, like, I still am not a fan of the platform. I don't like the idea. I want my full keyboard. But if that is the solution that you want, that one is the one you should get.
I'm like, so excited about this. I mean, we didn't even get to play a game with it at CES because it was just, like, on here. If you want to hold it up, that's probably helpful. Because it was just like... okay. Now I can't see it. Okay, well, whatever, this thing. So like we didn't get to play any games because they just had it on demo, like not actually running any games, so what could we do? But I got to be hands-on with it. What was neat about it was it's adjustable enough. Like some things, like I would go as far as to say the rat is a little bit over-adjustable to the point where no one actually needs to do that.
Well, whatever. I still think it's cool.
Okay, fine. No, it's cool. Agree it's cool.
I don't want one personally, but I still think it's cool.
Okay, but this is adjustable enough to the point where I can put my hands on it and it works. Slick put his hands on it and it still works. It's still usable no matter how you're using it. It's fully programmable, which is a requirement for something like this. And it actually has a lot of keys. I mean, you can complain all you want about how you want your full keyboard, but this thing has 20 keys. You have really big hands though. Like I can't reach more than this many keys for sure. Like the size of this thing, I can't get any further over than that in all likelihood. And the D-pad is another big deal as well. So I'm super excited to check this out. And Synapse has been fixed now to the point where it works offline. So
yeah,
like,
that was done pretty quick. I hated on that pretty hard, but they fixed that pretty quick, so I don't know.
Okay, so we've got an Acer notebook that just arrived. So this is an Aspire M Touch, which I hope is something that we can talk about. Okay, if it's not, then hopefully no one from Acer is watching because I don't want to get in trouble. And then this one is, this I'm really excited about. This is an Aspire S7 13-inch. So I've checked out the 11-inch before. That's the one with the aluminum top that's got like a crosshatch brushed aluminum pattern on it and is super light. This one's a little bit heavier. It's a 13-inch, but what's special about this guy is the fact that it has a Gorilla Glass top and looks just absolutely beautiful. Like the Acer of sort of, you know, thin plastic shells and screens that flex like this seems to have just been sort of dropped down a hole and buried with a notebook like this. So I'm really, really excited to check it out. I have not been hands-on with the Aspire S7 13-inch yet.
Oh, I know what these are.
And this I have a pretty good idea of what it is, but we actually haven't opened it yet. This is from Corsair. So let's go ahead and pull out the old knifey. But I'm hoping that this is Corsair's shot across the bow of NZXT, because NZXT actually beat them to market on a 140 millimeter and 280 millimeter liquid cooler, and it is. This is the Corsair H110, which is a large, and I mean large, liquid cooler from Corsair. It's got a 2x140 millimeter fan cooling configuration. It uses Corsair Link, which I personally consider to be an advantage over the Kraken software. It's very comprehensive compared to what other guys have. And it integrates, you know, with all your other components, which is part of what the whole Link messaging is about. So I am very, very excited to put this on our standardized test bench, which you can't see, but I'm touching right now. I assure you, it's right there, and see how the performance shakes down. So that's some of the cool stuff that we're going to have coming in the next little bit here. And why don't you go ahead and blindside me with the surprise? I actually legit have no idea what's going on here. It's probably stupid. Slick thought it was a good idea. Okay, what is this? What is this?
Well, just this is separate.
Okay, so this is a wrist rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not a huge fan of wrist rests because I don't like really soft wrist rests.
This is really hard though. This is like...
And then I don't like really crappy, stupid, plasticky wrist rests that usually come with keyboards.
Okay.
So it's a very solid but very good wrist rest.
I wish the back was grippier.
I do too, and I think I might do some type of mod to change that.
The first thing you have to do is
I saw it in a picture and I was like, oh, that's going to be grippy because it looks grippy.
Because it looks super grippy.
But it's not at all.
Yeah, okay, there you go. That's a better angle. Like it has like a texture to it, but it's more like plastic.
Yeah, and I read up online and knew it wasn't going to be grippy, but that's okay. I'm sure I can do something about that.
You know what? I have some neoprene.
Yeah, like
if you like take that and then glue it on or something like that, I think I have some thin neoprene. That
would probably be perfect because like I knew I'd just do something to that.
So this is a Ducky DK908. Did you actually order a new keyboard? When did you do this? How do you have money for this? No offense.
Just wait, it's pretty cool.
Okay. Because I'm not
you pulled out a sleeve.
I pulled out a... Oh.
But it like... There's a black sleeve.
No, there's a black sleeve. Okay, so I have to enjoy the full unboxing experience.
Yep.
Because I'm not really a Ducky guy, so I legit have no idea what this keyboard is. But there's their branding on the front of it. Wow, they actually do a really nice job of the packaging.
This is
nice.
It's not a standard one.
This is not a standard one.
It's
okay.
a limited edition.
So duckychannel.com.tw. Okay, how do you have money for this? Okay, I can already tell from like the way the box is shaping up here that this thing's going to be baller in some way or another. So here, can you hold this so that they can see and so that I can work on it here? Okay. Is this something that I'm like legit going to have to try and jack from you at some point?
That is foam. The foam doesn't come out.
Just foam.
So you can take the individual things
So
out.
there's a key removal tool that comes with it. Okay, so we're
not the best kind. You want
we
one
should
of the
have done
wired
an
ones.
unboxing of this.
But you can't really get them.
Oh.
Remember?
You can't? How did you get it?
You can't buy them from standard stores anymore. If you go on Geek Hack, there's one dude that has a few left.
Okay, so there's red WASD keys that are included, as well as...
the FH, like, these keys here are because on the middle, this is a Year of the Dragon keyboard, so 2012. So on the middle, there's special keys that say 2012. So if you want it to go FHGJ, you can replace it.
Oh, it's heavy. I love Duckies. They're so well built.
Ducky and Philco. And Cooler Master.
And Cooler Master. CM Storm, for that matter.
Yeah.
It's like awesome, well-built stuff. All right, so here it is. The Ducky Year of the Dragon Cherry MX Blue keyboard. On the back, there's a mark that shows you which one it is out of however many were produced, it looks like. So this is number 186. This is number 186, which is obviously like meant to be for me because that's the year I was born, 86. But okay, so here's the 2012 sort of Year of the Dragon thing there. So they've actually changed the text here. Is this backlit?
This is backlit.
What color?
Blue.
I guess we'll. Oh, it's
blue backlit.
Blue backlit. Okay, so we've got a.
It's got a whole bunch of different lighting modes. One of them is marquee, which is more just like you put it on a shelf and people can see it. Because
So
it just looks really cool.
you ordered this because you didn't actually want. So this is why you didn't even care if your old one worked anymore.
No, actually, this is actually for like I live at one place and then I have my parents' place, right? So when I go home on the weekends, I use this old gel cap keyboard that I used when I used to play EverQuest. So I go from my awesome Ducky where I live, and then I have to use this old gel cap keyboard when I go home. So I wanted a smaller, more portable keyboard that I can have at home and that I can kind of haul around with me.
There we go. Sorry, that computer I plugged it into wasn't powered on, so. Oh, looks like it's DOA. Oh wow, that is a nice color.
Yeah, and you can change the brightness levels up here, and you can change the modes.
Go for
so function key, here's brightness levels.
Okay, so it's got a number of different brightness levels. Wow, at its brightest, that's really nice.
Yeah, really vibrant. And then there's your 2012.
Yeah.
And then they've got the dragon key right here, which is your function key. They've got a custom key up here. Like,
is that like fire from the dragon or something?
I'm not even entirely sure, but it kind of looks like it.
It's not consistent with anything that's on here.
That's the dragon right there. And then there's I don't actually know what this says, but it's Chinese writing. I'm assuming it says "You're the dragon."
Sweet.
I don't know. It wasn't always really a big
Look at
deal.
that, back and forward. Oh, these are media back and forward.
Yes, media back and forward. This is all media.
Yeah.
And then you get into...
What's CM1?
There.
Oh, cool.
Because you can have... This is like... Or I don't remember actually how to do it. You have to like hold something down for a certain amount of time, but it's just like the one we saw at CES with Corsair, where you can like tell it which ones you want lit up.
Okay,
See how it's
okay.
selective here?
The K95 from Corsair allows you to just hold down a button and go, yeah, I want these ones lit and these ones not lit. So these are custom lighting patterns that you can have on it.
That's why you can tell it's like striped here, except for the 2012, which is solid. So it's just supposed to kind of look cool. And then if we go here, off that zone, like this is all just different lighting types.
Oh, that's cool.
I think
so
this
these
one's
are just
breathing.
presets. Oh yeah, so it's breathing right now.
Breathing's pretty cool.
Hopefully they can see that. I don't think they can see it, but it's a pretty good effect.
And then I think this is possibly the marquee one.
Okay.
Nope. No. There we go. There we go. That's
There we
marquee.
go.
So marquee just kind of like shows it off. Just wait a sec.
That's very cool.
It's supposed to do like all the striping.
Is it? It might take a little while because if it's meant to sit on a
It's
retail
meant to
shelf.
sit on a retail shelf when you're running it in marquee mode.
Right.
So
Okay.
there's one more. I gotta get it to work.
Sorry, it's DOA.
Why isn't it?
For what it's worth, guys, his old Ducky is still working as well. It's plugged into a USB 3 port, so that might be part of the flakiness.
The computer might have fully booted and then
Yeah.
now it's all acting up.
It might just...
But the mode that I'm actually most excited for is reactive type. So as you press down a key, that key lights up.
Oh, really?
It's pretty cool.
That's kind of ridiculous.
That's pretty cool. And then on the bottom, there's actually dip switches. And this is how you set, like, you can disable your Windows key, you can swap your control and caps lock, you can disable something else. I don't remember them all right now. I'm on the spot.
So the old Ducky is going to go back to your parents' house then?
Probably, because I'm very excited for this guy.
Right.
And then this, you can decide whether or not you want to put it on. I'm obviously going to put it on, but it's a shield over top of this.
Okay.
So I don't even know why it comes off. I don't know. There we go. That's marquee.
So why 10 keyless?
I already have a full-size keyboard, and then I have my Cooler Master that's 10 keyless. And remember when I thought my Ducky was dead, I used my Cooler Master for a while?
Yeah.
I kind of warmed up to it at that point. I realized that I got a lot better at typing numbers up here. I never used to type numbers up there. If I ever had to type a number, I'd dart over to the number pad and keep going.
Okay.
So I got a lot better at typing numbers up here, and then this will be more like, I go to the island a lot.
Okay.
Whenever I shove my keyboard in my bag, it sticks out the top.
Right.
And someone could just go, and it freaks me out the whole time. So this is way easier for transportation.
How much did this cost?
I'm not going into that.
This must have been at least 200 bones.
Not going into that.
No, come on. I could figure it out if I really needed to.
No, I bet you can't find it.
Okay. All right.
You might be able to find it in
So
stores that are out of stock.
this is one of those things like the M-Cubed T-Balancer where I just don't want to talk about how much it costs because it's embarrassing, because it's just like...
Just stupid.
It's just stupid to spend this much money on it.
So
I got it. Okay.
I want to show the reactive typing mode. That's obviously not it. That's not it.
That might be it.
There we go.
Okay, so it looks like the keys light up. There you go. You can kind of see it now. As you touch them, which is very, very, very cool. So compared to the electronics that go into most keyboards, this is some pretty serious business
It's pretty beast.
stuff that that went on in this one. So
And it's cool because it's limited edition and stuff.
Right.
That's always nice.
that's very cool. Okay. There's not many computer hardware swags that I'll get pretty jelly about, but that's
Pretty cool.
That's
and then
very cool.
this is the first wrist rest that I've ever liked in my entire life. I've actually been using this over the last 2
Have you
days.
tried the 7G one?
Yeah, it just still feels plastic.
Really? Well, it is plasticky,
Yeah.
but I find the shape is actually like really
I do
good.
kind of like the shape, but
Really
I
good.
really, really don't like the plasticky feel. I like how this one has the leathery texture to it because it's
Right.
real leather.
You know what? I think I had some topics that I did want to discuss, but I mean, I can't even really remember what some of them were because we didn't manage to launch the live stream until I think we'd even talked about one of them already, but
I'm trying to find my post that I
let's see
sent
if
to
there's any
myself.
good Twitter questions.
Patent troll. Newegg shopping cart thing.
Oh yeah, right. That was awesome. Okay.
I can also check
Yeah. Why
Twitter.
don't you start talking about that one?
Okay, one sec. Alright, so I don't know everything behind the story, so I'm sorry if I screw something up, but if everyone knows what patent trolls are, basically they either have some ridiculous patent that's just stupid, or they buy something up and then just try to sue everyone they can and make as much money as they can from suing people because of a patent. It's not like, oh, I actually invented this thing and you're actually screwing me over. I want compensation for this. It's more like, let's just gouge everyone we possibly can for as much money as we possibly can.
I bought the guy who actually invented it, so now
So now I'm just going to sue
I'm just
everyone.
gonna hoard all of the awesomeness for myself.
Yeah. So someone claimed to have a shopping cart patent. Now, like I said, I don't know everything behind the story, but shopping cart for online carts. So just like, okay, let's attack everyone. Like, everyone. And then Newegg just steps up with lawyer power and just goes, no. And just stops him before he actually was able to do pretty much anything. Newegg kind of stood up, took the charge, and just demolished. Which is pretty cool because I'm pretty tired of patent trolls.
Yeah, I mean one of the important things to note about patent trolls is that they generally have no intention of actually doing anything with the patent. So a great example of that would be someone like Rambus, where they invented a bunch of cool stuff to do with memory, and that's cool, I mean that's fine, but the reality of it is that was a long time ago, and at this point everyone's using the technology and everyone's pretty familiar with how it all works, and you weren't going to build any of this stuff anyway, so sort of, pee or get off the pot, so to speak. Calm down, so don't worry about it. So actually, another topic that I wanted to talk about was the German court that ruled internet an essential service.
Yeah.
So there was sort of a shenanigans that went down where a German court actually ruled that the internet is essential enough to your life that if an ISP, so an internet service provider, causes any downtime in your internet service, that you should be compensated for it. Your thoughts?
I think this is actually kind of cool. But
Come on, that's insane.
But then I worry, well, there can be seriously critical stuff. You can not get a job.
Okay.
You could fail an assignment. You can, a lot of seriously big time things can happen. And once you bring this to your employer and go, oh, my internet was down, even if you have evidence, they're just like, whatever, I don't care.
Okay.
But it has to be, if there's a scheduled downtime, then I don't think that should count.
Okay, so the flip side of that argument is there are reliable internet connections. They're called business internet connections. They cost 3 times as much. If your internet's that essential to you, then you don't mind spending some money on it. Honestly. No, really. Consumer grade, basically, if you buy a consumer grade... Okay, here. You buy a semi-truck where it's a commercial vehicle. The expectation is that thing runs for 1 million damn miles.
They put lots of maintenance on it.
They put lots of maintenance in it, but the maintenance is scheduled maintenance that is it's spec'd for that maintenance.
Right.
It's intended to do that maintenance. If that truck broke down in 300,000 kilometers or 300,000 miles or whatever, let's use kilometers because that's easier for me. If it broke down in 300,000 kilometers, how mad are you?
pretty freaking mad.
I'm
Those
mad.
are expensive.
Whereas if you buy a Toyota Corolla and it runs for 300,000 clicks, you're like, yeah, I got my life cycle out of that.
Right.
If it breaks down and you have like, okay, here, if a semi breaks down because of a shoddy piece of electronics
and
that
you
makes
missed your shipment.
the window not open or like the door lock stop working, like my parents' SUV, the trunk, you can't open it because the electronic door doohickey doesn't work, and they had to take it back to the dealership and get it serviced a couple times. If that happened on a pro-grade vehicle, I says, pardon?
Yes, but at the same time, like, hey, not to bring up me being on TELUS again and having 50 kilobits a second upload, but we would lose internet, like, not like once or twice a month. Like, possibly more than once a day.
You were on TELUS, that's what you get.
What the heck? Why?
But as a consumer, you have the right to change
Guess
it.
how far away the hub is, the TELUS hub.
I don't even know.
I could throw something and hit it from my house.
You're pretty buff, though.
But that's not the point. Like, it's literally right there. Like, it's across the
But none
street
of this
and a
is the
little bit
point.
down.
This is consumer grade technology. TELUS has
That's crap.
TELUS has professional grade service that they provide that is more reliable.
Probably still sucks.
Okay, you don't. There's no point hating on TELUS. You're not even a customer of theirs anymore. So there you go.
I know. I'm just like.
Okay, here, another thing. Anything pro-grade costs more, and people understand that, well, they used to understand that consumer-grade stuff doesn't entitle you to the same level of reliability that pro-grade stuff does. I mean, a Xeon with a super micro motherboard, with ECC RAM that's error checking all the time, and like a RAID array of boot drives with redundant power supplies, that thing better not ever turn off unexpectedly.
Right, but this is all at the same time. Even with the semi-truck, this is stuff where it's all on your end. You
No.
could perform maintenance.
Not necessarily.
You could monitor things. You could perform
You can
maintenance.
perform maintenance all you want on that consumer grade car. It's not going to go a million kilometers. It doesn't matter. It's just not designed to do that.
Yeah.
And things like a water pump will fail.
Yeah.
We understand this. We accept this. In a consumer grade motherboard, in a consumer grade memory that's not doing any error correction and checking, you know what? You can have a random solar flare that blasts it with something, flips a bit, the thing blue screens, it turns off. We accept this. In server grade, it's going to find that flipped bit. It's going to say no. It's going to flip it back, and that computer is not going to turn off most of the time.
Okay, I'm happy you added most of the time.
Most of the time. But that's what we're talking about. Professional grade versus consumer grade. So
Yeah.
an internet connection that is consumer grade should be like any other consumer
I
grade
can't
thing.
even play devil's advocate this much because I don't think the internet service provider should actually get in trouble because there's so many things that can happen. But it would just be kind of like if internet goes down for a day and there's no like natural disaster and it's just like all their fault, maybe you should get a free day.
I mean, the thing that I'd like to see is more competition with ISPs.
Yeah, especially in Canada.
So while I don't agree that we should be penalizing an internet service provider, it's like
There's like a social, what do you call them? When a group tries to bring change to different institutions and stuff. Social movement.
okay.
There's a social movement called Open Media in BC that's all about like, holy crap, internet service providers and cell phone providers are just killing everyone.
Yeah.
And they're like trying to bring reform because we're all just getting decimated with pretty crappy service for incredible prices. And there's like, when there's a social movement being like, hey guys, what the heck?
And it's similar in a lot of places. So while I don't think that we should be able to penalize an internet provider for not having service, we should be able to switch to someone else. That I believe. We should have the right to choose. If they suck, and if they annoy enough customers, then we should have the right to tell them to go shove it somewhere, and we should be able to go to someone else.
Unfortunately, when there's two.
Because if we have like a restaurant analogy, restaurants probably like the perfect way to look at it is you have a million choices for restaurants. If they serve you like poison food, like if an internet provider somehow like
Serves you a virus,
then they owe you something. But if you go to a restaurant and they're like, we're out of chicken McNuggets, and what do you say? You say, oh, you owe me money for the gas that I spent to come here to buy chicken McNuggets and you didn't have. No, they don't.
Which is why I said I can't even really play devil's advocate.
I mean, that's just bad luck.
Yeah, I think but again,
And you can go to a different restaurant.
Yeah, but you can't just flip ISPs every day. You can't just be like, oh, I don't have internet today. I'm gonna flip to TELUS for today.
But the flip side of that is if it's so important to you to have internet on that day, then you should have a pro-grade connection. Or what you should do is you should get a load balancing router. They're only about $150.
And get two different.
And you should have two different ISPs. Honestly, it's not... Okay, you looked at me like I was crazy for saying it.
It's expensive and a lot of people can't afford that.
No, but a lot of people can't afford semi-trucks. Yeah. So they're going to have to figure out how to live without a semi-truck.
Like I said, I don't actually really disagree with you. I don't think a ISP should get in big financial trouble for having an outage.
And when you consider if they have to compensate, I don't know, 100,000 customers
for a day or half a day
or half a day, actually that adds up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And it's not like that. And okay, again, I'm not like a bleeding heart. Oh, the poor internet service providers.
They're pretty ballin'.
I mean, they're pretty ballin', but the reality of it is, they had all their staff on that day.
Yeah.
It's not like their operation shut down, and if anything, their staff were working harder that day because things were getting real.
But then WoW does it, and WoW doesn't make it super popular. I know a couple different MMOs do it. If it's down for a day, you get a day. That kind of is a thing with some games. Not all of them, with some MMO games.
Right.
I know WoW did it. I know back when I played EQ. Now this is all old knowledge because I don't know. But I know EQ way back in the day kind of thought about it. I don't remember if they actually ever did. But
I mean, look at it. Even something I would go as far as to say when it comes to ISPs, there's almost things that they can't control.
But that's what I said. If it's something like a natural disaster or something along those lines, okay.
Okay, what if there's just a power outage because, someone screwed up?
There isn't usually just random power outages.
There can be.
For what? Is it their fault? Is it
know.
BC Hydro or is it Shaw?
You'll never know. If there's a power outage, is BC Hydro going to...
Yeah, not really.
Because I would argue that electricity is a much more essential service than... In fact, I would even argue that electricity is not an essential service if it's down for a few hours or even a day.
Depends who you are.
Why?
What if you're living off life support?
Okay, if you're on life support... But, again, hospitals are pro-grade. But they have generators.
But not everyone that's running off that, stuff that requires electricity to live is at a hospital.
Okay, that's true. But then at that point, what are you going to do? Give them $50 because they died?
I don't know. I'm just...
And I can tell you right now, they're using equipment that is pro-grade. Any medical equipment is pro-grade, not consumer grade,
And they've probably got battery backups of some sort, or a generator, or something.
Or something.
But I'm just...
But I would say that for the general...
I'm trying to keep it interesting by fighting for the other side, but I don't fully agree with it.
Okay, well,
I don't actually think ISPs should get in trouble.
Just for that, does anyone dare me to take the legendary axe to his keyboard just to troll him? I think that would be the point where I get fired.
Yeah.
Out of a cannon.
That would be beyond not cool.
Okay, well, we're pretty close to wrapping up, because I don't know about you, but I'm getting tired. Oh, sorry, did I just kick you there?
That's fine.
So Intel has mSATA 525 SSDs, which are basically a tweaked 520, so it's a high-performance SandForce drive, which means that you can get up to a 240 gig, very high-performance SSD in almost any form factor now. And along those same lines of shrinking storage, Toshiba now has an external 2.5-inch 2 terabyte drive. USB 3, pretty standard.
That's pretty beast.
Holy crap, right?
That's pretty beast.
How long ago was it that you could only get 2 terabytes of capacity in a 3.5? In fact, 3.5-inch drives are still maxed out at 4 terabytes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
That's crazy.
And the average one is 2, I think, right now.
Storage is just getting so much smaller. It wasn't since we went from 5.25-inch being the standard for hard drives down to 3.5-inch being the standard for hard drives that we've seen a miniaturization of storage devices like this. So not only is the performance going like this, Well, on SSD, it's more like going like this.
Yeah.
But we're actually seeing newer and smaller form factors. So SSDs brought huge performance in small capacities into these 2.5-inch form factors. Now they've taken that same performance and they've moved it down to mSATA, which is absolutely tiny. I mean, Mushkin has a 480 gig mSATA. It's just
What?
madness, right?
Do they sell that much?
No, of course
Because
not.
I know, but I see a lot of guys that are just like, oh yeah, we released this new baller mSATA thing, and I'm like, I don't see mSATA move that much. Like I never see it on forums.
Oh,
I
it
never see that kind of
does.
stuff. It does.
But it moves, mSATA sells to a different consumer. mSATA is not for a desktop hardware enthusiast, because what are you going to do with it?
But there's so many desktop boards that are built in.
Not that many. There's like 3.
That's a pretty good amount.
What do you mean that's a pretty good amount?
It's a pretty good amount for something that I've never seen anyone buy. Ever.
Okay, no. mSATA is not for the enthusiast desktop guys, because why bother? You have an enthusiast desktop.
I know.
Get a 2.5-inch
It doesn't
drive
make any
and,
sense.
like Velcro it to something. Don't worry about it.
But then server, why don't they just put it in an SSD?
No, not for server.
Then what?
For notebooks. General consumers. The guy who buys a MacBook or some Ultrabook and is like, oh, the only way to expand my storage is probably to get a bigger SSD. My device only supports mSATA. So they buy one. And these are people who, okay, so enthusiasts are more likely to sort of have a fast upgrade cycle or whatever else. But a general consumer who's not necessarily as educated is more likely to see a need, find a solution, and just act on it because they don't want to do all the research that would be involved in setting up a NAS so that they can back up their data there or use a cloud service to, I mean, they don't want to deal with that. They want a laptop with the hard drive and they want it to be bigger. That's it. And if you look at it from a dollar per gigabyte perspective, which is how an enthusiast looks at it, you can go, oh, that's $500 for only 500 gigs. Instead, I could buy this drive, which is 128 gigs for only $99, a better value.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're a general consumer, you're going, I spent $1,500 on this notebook that has a 128 gig storage device, or I can spend
it by that much more.
$2,000 to have 4 times as much storage device. So I'm spending 30% more to 4x my storage.
And when that's one of the main specs of the computer you care about.
I have a better notebook now.
Yeah.
I spent this much more.
Yeah.
That's another way of looking at it.
And that might be, if you bought an equivalent expense notebook, you might be happier and get more value out of the one that you upgraded because what you actually needed more of was storage space instead of just throwing more money at a computer and getting maybe only 50 gigs more.
Did I do my Windows Phone 8 talk before or after we thought we were streaming?
Ooh.
I don't remember anymore.
I have no idea. We also have to do a giveaway.
Oh yeah, we have to do a Windows 8 giveaway. Oh.
I don't have any questions.
I don't have any questions. What should we do? Let's go with like a Linus Tech Tips related question.
What OS did you
Wait,
install?
hold on. Tell me first. Well, that's lame.
I don't even remember what it is. I just remember there was that thing. Like, when else do we do operating system stuff?
Let's do... You know what? Let's let Twitch chat tell us...
Twitch chat.
No. They're not picking the question. Let's let Twitch chat tell us if I ever did the Windows Phone 8 thing. Okay, I talked about it already. Okay, they say I talked about it already.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'll pick a question while you juggle or something.
I can't juggle.
You can't juggle? Oh, well, that's a shame.
Juggle. Well, everyone's going to be ridiculously bored now.
No, they won't be bored.
I don't know what to talk about. Let's go, Twitch chat. What's up? How's it going? How are you guys? You guys are saying yeah.
You're not even putting the Twitch chat up on the thing, so...
Oh.
Press 2.
2?
Oh, don't press 2 over there.
Whatever. Hey, guys. How's it going? How's life? I'm good. Hey.
You're so lame.
No one's saying anything interesting. Say stuff that's interesting.
They're gonna say stuff that's inappropriate.
Yeah, I've seen some inappropriate stuff already. Hey, there's a dog! I don't know how that guy did that. That was actually pretty cool. Hello from England. Hi! How's it going? I don't know what to say. You guys saw my keyboard. That was kind of all I had up on my sleeve. Someone has a dog, another person has a person. I'm good. Someone asked me how I am. Destiny's question. I didn't see Destiny's question. Read Twitter. Okay. We will switch. Where's the browser? There we go. It's broken.
If you don't entertain them better, you're fired.
Oh. Interactions. Crisis 3 Beta has been fantastic. That's cool. I want to play Crisis 3 Beta. Needs weapons, balancing.
You know what?
That's not surprising though.
I'm gonna go with like a really stupid piece of Linus trivia. So I'm gonna be narcissistic enough to ask a question about myself. Yeah.
Does it have anything to do with Windows?
No.
That's the point, is it not?
Yeah.
So then you're just completely avoiding the point.
Yeah, we're deviating from the point.
Okay.
Okay. How many inches taller than me is Slick? And you win a copy of Windows 8.
I don't even know that. Sir.
Okay, so we're going to Twitter. We're going to Twitter. Let's see who gets it right first. You can only submit one guess each. 18 new interactions. Uh-oh. Okay, so let's go down. I don't know how tall Slick is anymore. Okay, hold on. How tall are you? Can't do math. Okay, so we've got some guesses rolling in. Okay, we got someone saying 5 inches, 6 inches, 5 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, 7 inches, 5, 2 inches, 6, 17 inches. Come on, Brian. How short do you really think that I am? That's not fair. 4 inches, 7 inches taller. Okay, moving down, down, down. Okay, here we go. 8, 6, 5, 2 foot 4 inches. Thanks a lot, man. Over 9,000 inches.
I don't know what the answer is, so I have no idea if we've seen it or not, because I don't know how tall you are.
6'3", 3 inches, 4 inches, 9 inches, 8 inches, 3 inches, 7 inches, half an inch, 20 new interactions. No one's got it so far, which is kind of funny.
Is it? Oh.
What are your thoughts on the FX8350? Yeah, we're having a slightly different conversation right now, which is very related to everything. 9 inches, 4.5 inches, 8 inches, 9 inches. No one's got it yet. This is fun. This is like the stupidest game ever. Nope, nobody's got it yet.
I like that guy's comment. I use a metric system. I have no idea how stupid it just went.
You know what? Tenacis, thumbs up to you because you're awesome, man.
You're a boss.
Yeah, you are definitely a boss. Christian Moley is the big winner. So, Christian, I'm going to go ahead and follow you on Twitter. Please send me a direct message on Twitter to claim your prize, and I'll get you in touch with. As always, our Windows 8 giveaway is sponsored by Timmy Tech TV, so you can visit youtube.com/TimmyTechTV, and he has generously donated, I think, a total of 5 copies of Windows 8 for us to give away on these live streams. Thank you so much, Timmy. That's awesome. And
we've done how many so far?
We've done 3, 4? I have no idea. We're going to keep giving them away until he tells us to stop making him broke and giving away his copies of Windows 8. So I am 5 foot 6 inches, and Slick is
6'4".
6'4". So Slick is 10 inches taller than me. That's why it always hardcore breaks the framing of any shot that we're both in. Like when he's been on NetLinked Weekly, for example. IP Charger says he said 10 inches first. I didn't see it, so that's sort of a problem. I'll follow you. Wait, we can check the log. That's the great thing about Twitter. So send me a message, and we'll see if we can sort it out. If he's the winner, then he's the winner, and I apologize for ruining it. For whatever else. Speaking of Twitter, Unbox Therapy is up here. So Unbox Therapy is the one that I did the gaming peripheral giveaway with. I haven't actually talked to him about doing the prize announcement, so we'll have to do that very, very soon. Will we ever utilize 8-way SLI? Probably no time soon. The drivers would just be a nightmare. I didn't know you were so small or Slick so tall.
I'm not that tall.
6'4" is pretty tall. It's like...
I'm not even the second tallest person in my group of friends.
Mutant.
One of my best friends is 6'5", and then one of my good buddies is like 6'7".
When you don't shave, you look like a Sasquatch.
It's not even that bad. You just don't really grow facial hair.
Well, no, Wow.
Oh, you mean like
Why are you
not
gonna
right
take
now?
a cheap shot? I'm not even talking. You're fired.
Damn it, that's points.
You guys see why I have to fire this guy all the time? Let's do a little bit more Twitter Q&A. How about the unofficial Tech Tips game servers? How do I feel about them?
Have you even heard about them?
No.
They're pretty cool. And
Are
like,
they? Okay.
I think he's actually the one that set it up. And it goes like LinusTechTips.com star, all capitals, unofficial star. So they're not trying to
Okay.
like be sleazy about it. They're very official, very cool.
As long
very
as they're-
officially unofficial.
As long as they're unofficial and it's just, LinusTechTips.com forum members and they are getting together and playing some games, that's great. I mean,
It got
Yeah.
it got brought up by a mod just to make sure that I knew about it. He wasn't
Right.
like, I think this is a bad idea or whatever.
Right.
Just so that I knew about it, and then I checked it out and I was like, okay, well he put the big star, unofficial star thing. So
Okay.
we don't have to moderate it or anything, it's just free roaming, and I think it's cool. That's cool.
Logan said he sent the Skyrim mods. Yes, he did. So we have the full list of Skyrim mods so we can PCify it the same way that he did. Okay, there's a whole lot of, there's a lot of people who are saying they said 10 inches first. Well, it didn't show up on Twitter, so I don't know.
We'll
I don't know
have
what
to
say about
just
it.
go back and check it out.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for tonight. Good night, everyone, and thank you for bearing with us when we had again more technical difficulties.
We really thought that we finally had made it so that we started on time.
Yeah,
And we're really bummed out that we were like half an hour late.
yeah, we started on time today.
We were filming and like talking and going through stuff for like half an hour.
Yeah,
For people that just
we even fist bumped at one point during that half an hour.
yeah.
Like that's how good of a you guys missed it. I mean, we enjoyed it.
It was pretty alright.
I enjoy your conversation, sir.
It was good.
I'm not trying to make it awkward,
No, I know. And like it was.
but I do really enjoy your.
Oh God! It was the first time we had talked about a lot of the things we talked about on the stream. So I don't know. Oh well.
Okay,